Hi everybody, thanks for logging in to the Chris Cooks Content channel. Today we're doing a subcategory of Chris Cooks content called Chris Cooks It from the Side of the Packet. And that's where Chris, that's me, gets a product. A lot of these products have a little recipe on the side of the packet, something you can make out of it. I think it'd be a lot of fun to try them out. So today, not only are we doing Chris Cooks It from the Side of the Packet, we are doing Chris Cooks It from the Side of the Packet International Edition, because we are making Kiwi Dip. Stick around, it's going to be fun. Okay, Kiwi Dip. I've never made Kiwi Dip before. I've never tasted Kiwi Dip before. I was recently on holidays in New Zealand, in Auckland, and went to the supermarket there, and we saw in the supermarket two products. This one, which is Nestle Reduced Cream, and this one, which is Maggi Onion Powdered Soup Mix. And if you look at both of these products, it says Kiwi Dip, Kiwi Dip. And these products were right next to each other in the supermarket. So Kiwi Dip must be a really big thing over in New Zealand. So it's really, and the recipe is on both of them. There's the recipe on the back of this one and on the back of this one. So it's a double whammy, if you like. I've never seen it before, where they have got the complementary products with the recipe on both of them. So, and there's really only two ingredients. You've got a can of this, a packet of this, and a squeeze of lemon. Simple as can be. I wonder how it's going to taste. Let's find out. Okay, here we go with making the Kiwi Dip. This is barely even a recipe, but okay, it's fun. Let's try it out. You take the can of Nestle Reduced Cream. Keep it in the fridge for 30 minutes. I think it helps to thicken the dip up a little bit. So 1 can of reduced cream. One packet of Maggi onion soup. One squeeze of lemon. Oh, got a seed in there. I just take the seed out. Mix it up. That's it. That's Kiwi Dip, folks. A nation of millions can't be wrong. We'll get to the taste test in just a sec. Time for the taste test. Here's our Kiwi Dip original recipe. And we're going to try it. We've got some carrot sticks, some celery sticks, and some Ritz crackers, little crackers, just to try things out. First, with the cracker. Now on the carrot stick. Now on the celery. Not bad, not as salty as I thought it would be, just with all of that onion soup mix in it and not much liquid to go with it. Doesn't taste anything like mayonnaise. A different, not really a very creamy flavour either from that reduced cream. It is quite savoury. There's a bit of umami in there, I think, because of there might even be some MSG or something like that in that soup mix or something similar. But yeah, it's not bad. I can see how people could, it's something easy to make. Have some people come around, throw it together in 2 minutes, a few crackers, whatever else you got around. I think people could put a few of those down with a drink or two. Why not? Quite sure it would take over the world, but who am I to say? So my Kiwi friends, Kiwi Dip, yeah, it's good enough. I don't think it's good enough to go to an import shop to try and get the actual ingredients, but we'll find out exactly once we try Kiwi Dip Australian version. Okay. To continue with the international theme of today's episode, We're going to take Kiwi Dip and we're going to try and make the Australian version of Kiwi Dip. A lot of Kiwis live in Australia, and I guess they keep wanting to make Kiwi Dip. So you can't always get the ingredients for Kiwi Dip exactly as you get them in New Zealand. But there's enough Kiwis around that they've worked out an Australian version. So instead of the can of the reduced cream and the onion soup, it is recommended online in a little chat room I saw that you can use creme fraiche. And in Australia, we don't have onion soup, we have French onion soup. It's a little bit chunkier, it's sort of got bits of onion in it instead of being part of the powder. But all right, people say it tastes exactly the same. Some people say use sour cream, some people say use creme fraiche, some people say use yogurt. I think the onion's actually quite overpowering. It doesn't matter what you put it with anyway. But let's try it out. Kiwi Dip, Australian version. Let's go. Okay, ready for round two. Oz version of Kiwi Dip. We're going to use the creme fraiche. I'm just going to use half the packet because I want to save the other half of the packet for our other recipe. French onion soup, again, half a packet of this. That's about half. I think it's pretty forgiving, this recipe. Squeeze of lemon, and we'll mix that one up. Immediate difference is a bit different colour. I was surprised how dark the Nestle reduced cream was when it came out of the can. But, okay, there we go. Kiwi Dip Oz version. Let's go to the taste test. Taste test number 2. This is the Kiwi Dip Australian version made with creme fraiche and French onion soup. First, we'll try it with the Ritz cracker. Carrot stick. Last but not least, celery stick. Okay, it doesn't taste exactly the same. I think if you were to have a Kiwi Dip loving New Zealander around to your house and said, hey, I've made you some Kiwi Dip, you know, to celebrate your arrival in this country, and handed them this one, they'd say, oh, it's not quite right, there's something different. There is a slightly more salty flavour, a slightly different, more flavour profile from the French onion soup mix. There's those little chunks of onion. If you get one of those, you really get a stronger onion flavour there. A little bit more salty to my palate, but why not? I'm sure if you had a New Zealand friend visiting and saying, I couldn't do Kiwi Dip, but I did Kiwi Dip Australian version to remind you of home, I'm sure they'd put a smile on their face. It's not bad. It's easy to throw together a game. You can get so many of the pre-packaged dips in the supermarket. You know, the French onion dip's one of them. Tzatziki, the beetroot dip, the kids love that one. All these sorts of things. Cream cheese and chili sauce, all these different ones that people make. That's not bad. You could add Kiwi Dip. You could add Kiwi Dip Australian version to your repertoire, to something you were taking over to somebody's house. You saw how easy it was to throw together. And yeah, it's something new. It's something different. It's like, yeah, I haven't tasted that one before. What is that? It is different to French onion dip that you would buy. It's pretty cool. Give it a go. Why not? We're still not finished. We're doing one more recipe for Chris Cooks It from the side of the packet. And if we look at this packet of continental French onion soup, on the back it's got a recipe of its own, and it's the spinach cob loaf dip. And guess what? It's a recipe that includes sour cream, or creme fraiche we're going to use today, the French onion soup, some spinach, some spring onions, some mayonnaise, etc., etc. We'll go through details a bit later. But this is sort of, I guess, we can call the other one the Aussie dip. You could, if that version is Kiwi dip, then this is Oz dip, 1970s version. The recipe actually says you've got to hollow out a loaf of bread and sort of toast the bread and put it in that. I'm not going to go that far today. That's a bit too much of a 70s throwback. They were doing crazy things back then. But I do want to try out the dip. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it tastes in relation to the Kiwi dip, in relation to Kiwi dip Australian version. We're going to have spinach cob loaf dip, or I'm going to call it Oz dip just today. We're going to have Oz dip without hold the loaf. Let's see how it goes. Recipe number 3, Oz dip. Here we go. Now I'm making a half mixture because I'm just using up the other halves of the ingredients that I had left from Kiwi dip Australian version. So 100 grams of creme fraiche. It could be sour cream. Half a cup of mayonnaise. That's just straight out of a jar mayonnaise. 2 spring onions. I call them spring onions in Australia. I think they're called green onions or scallions, depending on where you are. This is half a packet of frozen spinach, so 100 grams of frozen spinach that's been thawed. And when you use frozen spinach, you really have to, after you thaw it, squeeze all of the liquid out, as much liquid as you can before you use it. The rest of the French onion soup. And last but not least, a squeeze of lemon. And we'll mix that up. So, it's a lot greener than the other dips. Again, a very simple recipe, something you can throw together in 5 minutes. All right, let's taste that one. Time for the taste test of Oz dip. We'll try it first with the celery. With the carrot. Now on the cracker. Well, it pains me to say it, but that is the worst of the 3. The mayonnaise with the French onion soup as well, it is just salty, it's a bit greasy on the palate. Spinach adds a little bit, the spring onion does add a little bit. I don't know, I think the simpler ones are better. What would I say? If you wanted to try it the best of both worlds, you could add the spinach and the spring onion to the Kiwi dip, to the Australian Kiwi dip Oz version. So creme fraiche, French onion soup, spinach, chopped spring onion. That'd be pretty good. The mayonnaise it takes it back to the 70s a bit much, I think. It doesn't taste fresh. It tastes a bit processed, a bit greasy, and really quite a bit too salty. Anyway, it was worth a try. It was a bit of fun. So, Kiwi dip number 1. Oz version of Kiwi dip number 1. Maybe. The Oz version was more salty. I guess we'll call it a toss-up. Might have to give it to Kiwi dip. It's the original. So Kiwi dip's great. Oz version of Kiwi dip, good. If you like it, things a little bit salty, go with that one. Oz dip, we might do the combination. That might be better. Kiwi dip with added spinach, added spring onion. See how you go with that one. You never know till you try it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for staying till the end. I actually had an extra taste of each of those 3 dips off camera. And it pains me to say it, as a patriotic Australian, but credit where it's due. The best of those three dips was Kiwi Dip. Original version, the New Zealand ingredients, exactly as it says how to cook it on the back of the can of the Nestle reduced cream, on the back of the packet of the Maggi onion soup. A nice earthy flavour, not overpowering, not too salty, which I think the French onion soup mix made things a little bit salty on those Australian variants of the recipes. So I can see why the Kiwis love it. I can see why it'd be just the thing to have. If you had friends around, beer in this hand, bit of Kiwi Dip in this hand, it'd really go down well. That's a wrap. We hope to see you very, very soon. If you want to see the latest videos, and we're going to have new videos coming up all the time, you got to subscribe. You know the drill. You know how this works. Please subscribe. If you like the video, please like it. If you've got any ideas for what we can do for something else that you've seen on the side of a packet, let us know in the comments. If I can get it from the supermarket, why not? It might be the very next video we make. Thanks for sticking by. We'll see you again soon. And remember, if I've had half as much fun as you, you've had twice as much fun as me. See you next time.